The first journal entry. I don't know who will ever read this. Maybe no one. Maybe by the time anyone finds these pages, there'll be nothing left of me to recognize. But writing helps keep the noise in my head quiet, at least for a while. So, this will be my record, my confession, or maybe just the last proof that I was once human. It's been 13 days since they told me I'm immune. They said it like a blessing, the only one among hundreds of test subjects to resist a virus that broke the world. I remember the doctor's trembling hands when he held the results. His voice cracked through the plastic mask. "You're the key, Daniel. You might save us." The others in the ward had already turned by then. Skin gray, eyes leaking a yellow film, screaming until their throats bled. I could hear them through the reinforced glass every night. I used to feel lucky that I wasn't one of them. Now I'm not so sure. They moved me to a private wing after that. Isolation room C9. Sterile white walls, humming vents, one cot, one desk, and a camera in the corner that blinks red every 10 seconds. I used to talk to it, pretending someone was on the other side listening. But the longer I stayed here, the more I realized no one's monitoring anymore. The facility feels hollow, the air too still, the lights flickering more often. I think most of the staff left or didn't make it. The first changes started small. My reflection in the mirror began to distort under the fluorescent lights. My pupils dilated too wide. My skin, it doesn't bruise anymore. I pressed a scalpel against my palm once, just to feel something, and the cut sealed before I could even flinch. It left behind a faint shimmer, like oil on water. When I showed it to Dr. Veris, she stared at me for a long time and said, "The immunity isn't just resistance, it's adaptation." Then she started locking the door from the outside whenever she left. They injected me again yesterday, some new serum labeled Stage 5 Recovery. It burned like fire crawling through my veins. I screamed until my throat tore, but when it was over, I could hear things. The low hum of machines from 2 floors below. Heartbeats, distant but steady. I can hear my own, too, slower, heavier, like it's pumping something thicker than blood. I tried to sleep after that, but dreams don't come anymore. Only flashes, hands covered in red gloves, voices whispering numbers. The sound of bones cracking that I can't tell are from memory or imagination. When I wake, the sheets stick to my skin as if I've been sweating mercury. This morning, the mirror cracked without me touching it. I was staring at my face, trying to remember what it used to look like, and something inside me twitched, deep, involuntary. The glass fractured, spiderwebbing out from my reflection's eye. The thing is, I didn't feel surprised. I just felt right. I can't shake the thought that the virus isn't gone. It's inside me, learning, reshaping. I'm immune to its death, yes, but not to its hunger. Sometimes I can feel it pushing against my ribs like it wants out, or maybe wants control. I don't know which would be worse. There's a knock on my door now. That's new. No one's knocked in days. The red light on the camera is off, and the hallway outside is too quiet. I think I'll stop writing for tonight. My hands are trembling again, but not from fear. There's something else moving beneath my skin, like static alive and waiting. If this journal ends abruptly, maybe that's when I stop being me. I didn't open the door last night. I just watched it, waiting. The knock came again, 3 times, slow and deliberate, like whoever or whatever was out there wanted me to know it was an accident. Then silence. I sat on the floor with my back against the wall until the light through the vent turned from white to the weak blue. That means another morning has started. When I finally checked, the hallway was empty. The locked panel blinked green for the first time in weeks. They used to keep it red, sealed from the outside. I should have been relieved. Instead, I felt like a fish staring at an open tank lid, too afraid to breathe the air beyond. I stepped out. The corridor smelled wrong. Not rotten exactly, just off, like metal soaked in old blood. The fluorescent strips hummed, a low note that made my teeth hurt. I followed it past the other patient rooms. Every door I passed was marked with black tape and numbers. C7, C8, C10. I tried not to look through the little square windows, but I did anyway. Inside, shapes twitched under sheets, jerking like sleepers trapped mid-dream. Some of them weren't breathing. At the nurse's station, a clipboard lay on the floor. Pages were torn out. On the last one still attached, someone had written in a shaking hand, "Immunity is not equal to salvation." That was all. I don't know why, but I folded the page and put it in my pocket. Maybe I needed proof that someone else realized what was happening before it was too late. In the lab wing, the light still worked. The door to the observation room was open, monitors flickering with static. One of them showed my room, empty except for the cot and the cracked mirror. For a moment, I thought I saw movement there, my reflection bending, breathing even though I was gone, but the feed cut out before I could be sure. I found Dr. Veris's office next. She wasn't there. The air reeked of antiseptic and coffee gone sour. On her desk was a voice recorder, still blinking red. I pressed play. Her voice was hoarse. Subject C, 9 displays regenerative anomalies. Increased aggression predicted. Recommend termination if cognitive drift exceeds 37%. Then a scrape, a crash, a short scream. The recording ended in static. I don't know what cognitive drift means, but I can guess. I feel it sometimes. Thoughts sliding out of order, sentences echoing in my head before I speak them. My senses are sharper every hour. I can hear the hum of the emergency lights like a swarm of insects. I can smell blood somewhere below the vents, metallic and sweet. And worst of all, my skin isn't just healing now, it's hardening. The cuticles along my hands are dark and glassy. When I flex, they shimmer faintly like scales catching light. I tried to cut one with the scalpel again. The blade snapped. No pain, just a vibration deep in the bone, almost like satisfaction. I should feel terror, but what I feel instead is clarity. It's as if every nerve is waking up after long sleep, remembering what it was designed to do. My reflection in the lab's dark window smiled before I did, a fraction of a second early. That's when I realized a knock on my door wasn't a warning. It was an invitation. I hear again now, echoing down the corridor. Not at my door this time, closer to the containment wing. Something is moving there, heavy and confident. The facility isn't empty after all. I'm going to follow the sound. I don't think I'm afraid anymore. The fear feels like something that belonged to the old version of me, the human one. This new pulse in my veins is louder, steadier. If I don't come back to write another entry, maybe that's because I finally found what's been calling to me from the other side of the glass. Still, I'll take the recorder with me. Someone should know what happens next. The lower levels, I'm recording this from the stairwell between levels C and D. The generator hums somewhere below, and the whole structure shivers like it's breathing through metal lungs. My voice sounds different in the echo, lower, rougher. I think it's because my throat isn't shaped the same anymore. The cartilage under my skin feels thicker, almost flexible like rubber. When I left the lab wing, the lights flickered in rhythm with my heartbeat. Each time the corridor went dark, I could see more than before. Outlines glowed faintly, blue threads connecting everything. Wires in the walls, water pipes, even the faint electric current inside the dead monitors. My eyes don't need light now. They see heat, motion, energy. The sound I followed led down to the containment floor. The doors were all sealed with reinforced glass, marked with hazard triangles. Inside one cell, something moved. I pressed my face to the window and saw what was left of one of the other subjects. It looked like a man melted halfway through his own skeleton. Skin stretched, bones knotted like branches. But he was alive. His eyes tracked me, bright yellow under the fluorescence. He mouthed a word I couldn't hear. Then he raised his hand, and for a second our palms met through the glass. That's when the alarm started. A deep klaxon rolled through the hall, low and steady. The red lights pulsed, bathing everything in blood-colored flashes. The containment cell hissed open. I stumbled back, but the thing didn't attack. It just stood there, trembling. I could feel its heartbeat through the air, matching mine exactly. And then, slowly, it turned away and shambled toward the elevator shaft at the end of the corridor. I should have run. Instead, I followed. The elevator doors were already pried apart. Inside, cables hung loose, swaying like vines. I climbed down after it. My fingers dug into the metal as if they belonged there. I could smell the virus, the same scent that used to make my stomach twist. Ozone rot and something sweet. It didn't make me sick this time. It made me hungry. Level D isn't finished. Concrete walls, exposed pipes, puddles of stagnant water. Emergency lights glowed dim orange, barely enough to see. I heard movement in the dark, wet footsteps, claws scraping metal. The other subject was somewhere ahead, breathing in short bursts. I followed the sound until I reached a broken doorway, leading into a larger chamber. There were bodies on the floor. Technicians, guards, maybe. I couldn't tell anymore. Their faces were smeared, their suits torn open. Whatever happened down here wasn't a breach. It was a massacre. And in the center of the room stood the thing I'd followed. It turned toward me, chest heaving. For a moment, I saw my own outline reflected in its eyes. Then it spoke. Not words exactly, more like a vibration that rattled inside my skull. Not alone, it said, though its mouth didn't move. I felt the meaning rather than heard it. My vision blurred, and suddenly I understood the virus wasn't meant to kill. It was meant to connect. Every infected cell still remembers the others. Every survivor is part of a single, growing design. I stumbled back, shaking my head, shouting that I wasn't like them. The thing tilted its head and reached toward me. Its skin shimmered with the same dark gloss I'd seen on my own hands. The same pattern. The same evolution. I ran. Now I'm in the stairwell again, breathing hard though I don't really need to. My pulse has slowed to something deliberate, almost mechanical. The cuts on my palms from the climb are already gone. But the echo of that voice, not alone, won't fade. If this is what immunity means, then maybe the infected aren't the monsters after all. Maybe I am. I'll rest for a while before going deeper. There has to be a control room or an exit somewhere below. The air smells fresher down there, almost alive. I'll keep writing while I still can, while my thoughts still sound like mine. The control room, I don't remember how long I sat in that stairwell before I moved again. The hum under the concrete had changed pitch, as if the facility itself was leaning closer to listen. My hands had stopped trembling. The longer I stay down here, the more I notice that calm isn't a choice. It's something the new veins decide for me. The corridor on level E sloped down toward the core. Someone had painted arrows on the wall, faded red, pointing to control room. I followed them. The air was warmer, thick with the smell of burnt plastic. Every few meters, I passed security camera drooping on its mount, the lens cracked, the red indicator dark. When I found the door, it was already half open. Inside, the room looked like a command bridge after a storm. Monitors flickered through static. Loose cables dangled like intestines from the ceiling. A single terminal still glowed blue. On the screen, system override, immune subject C9 active. My ID. The keyboard was slick with dried something. I didn't check what. I tried to type a command. The moment my fingers touched the keys, the system reacted on its own. Lines of code spilled across the screen faster than I could read. It was downloading from me, pulling data straight through the contact. My body tingled as if every nerve had turned into a wire. For a heartbeat, I saw the network. Hallways, labs, security doors, all pulsing like veins in a single organism. The building wasn't dead. It was alive and waiting. The monitors shifted from static to faces. Dozens of them. People who'd worked here, talking, laughing, unaware. Then, one by one, their skin grayed, their mouths open in the same silent scream. The feed froze. My reflection stared back on the dark glass. Skin slick, eyes too bright. Behind me, something stirred. Dr. Varys. Or what's left of her. She stood in the doorway, lab coat hanging in tatters, one arm fused with black and gross that pulsed like coral. She didn't attack. She just watched me with the same mixed pity and awe she used to wear when she took my blood. "You're stable," she said. Her voice scraped like sand through metal. It worked. What worked? I asked, though I already knew. The merge. The virus isn't an infection anymore. It's a host. And you're the bridge. I wanted to shout at her, demand a cure, but the words came out slow and heavy. You made me this. She smiled, lips cracking. We made each other. Then she staggered forward and collapsed. Her skin split along the spine, releasing a hiss of air that smelled like copper and ozone. Beneath, I glimpsed movement, tiny filaments writhing, reaching for floor. I backed away, heart pounding. The monitors lit again. A calm female voice filled the room. Containment breach acknowledged. Integration phase initiated. The walls began to vibrate. The filaments from Varys's body crawled toward the consoles, fusing into the circuits. The whole facility was coming alive. I grabbed the recorder, whispering into it now, because the noise is unbearable. I can feel the current in the walls answering the rhythm of my pulse. Every light flicker matches the beat in my chest. I think if I stay connected to the system, it will finish whatever it started. I'm going to try to shut it down. There's a manual override in the generator chamber 2 levels below. The voice says integration phase initiated, but maybe it isn't complete yet. Maybe I still have time to stop it, or at least decide what I'll become. If anyone ever finds this recording, remember, immunity isn't survival. It's surrender disguised as strength. I'll write again if I can, if I'm still able to hold a pen. The corridors beyond the control room tilt downward like a throat. Every step hums beneath my boots. Every surface gives off faint warmth, as if blood has replaced coolant in the pipes. The voice that filled the control room hasn't returned, but I can still hear it deep inside my head, the words echoing without sound. Integration phase initiated. The stairwell to the generator level is flooded halfway up. The water is dark, carrying pieces of paper and hair and something that looks like skin. When I wade through it, the liquid clings to me. It doesn't feel cold. It feels alive. My suit tears as I move, and wherever the fluid touches bare skin, it sinks in. For a few seconds it burns, then the sensation changes into a dull pleasure, like something aligning itself under my flesh. I keep telling myself to focus. I'm here to reach the generator, to shut the system down before the facility finishes whatever it's doing. But focus is harder every minute. My senses stretch outward. I can feel vibrations through the railings, small signals like heartbeats traveling through the metal. There are things alive in these walls now. Halfway down, I find a sign torn from the bulkhead. Core Lab. Authorized personnel only. I smile before I realize it. My hands look alien in the emergency light, blackened at the fingertips, glossy like lacquered stone. When I bend my fingers, the surface shifts like scales realigning. They don't hurt. They feel useful. The air grows hotter as I descend. My breath fogs even though the temperature should be rising. The sound of the generator comes through like a pulse. A deep, steady rhythm, slower than any machine I've known. When I reach the bottom, the passage opens into a huge circular chamber. Catwalks crisscross over a pit filled with machinery and cables that move like roots in water. There's light below, not electric, organic. It pulses faintly blue, beating in time with me. I cross the catwalk, every step echoing too loud. The metal underfoot has started to bend, slick and softening. The pit smells like rust and rain. I find the main console at the far end, covered in dust and something that looks like ash. A manual switch juts from the panel, labeled override/shutdown. I reach for it, but before my fingers touch the lever, the voice returns. Clear now, close enough to feel in my bones. Daniel, it says. No static this time. Just my name. You don't need to stop it. You are the continuation. I freeze. The sound doesn't come from speakers. It comes from inside me, vibrating behind my sternum. I look down, and for the first time I see light shining through the skin of my chest, blue veins forming patterns like circuitry. I should panic. Instead, I understand. The immunity was never protection. It was a template for a new kind of life. The virus didn't die inside me. It found stability. It learned how to think. The voice grows warmer, almost gentle. One system. One body. Join the signal. The generator flares brighter. The filaments in the pit twist upward, reaching for me like branches. I grab the lever and pull. Sparks leap. A howl rips through the chamber, and for a second the light dies. Silence, absolute. Then I realize the silence isn't outside. It's inside. My heartbeat is gone. I stand there, waiting for fear that never comes. My lungs move out of habit. My reflection in the metal wall shifts on its own, eyes like twin lights in the dark. Maybe the shutdown didn't work. Or maybe it did, and this is what comes after. I'm leaving the recorder, running while I move deeper into the core. There's still another hatch below, half open, glowing faintly from the inside. If I'm already changing, I might as well see what I'm becoming. The hatch door beneath the generator was lighter than it looked. When I touched it, the metal softened, opening like something that recognized my skin. Behind it, a tunnel sloped downward, walls pulsing with the same faint blue glow that now threads through my veins. The air tastes like static and salt. I follow the slope for what feels like hours, though the watch on my wrist has stopped. The deeper I go, the less gravity seems to matter. Steps come easier, like the floor itself is carrying me. The humming from the generator fades, replaced by a slower rhythm, more heartbeat than engine. The tunnel ends in a circular chamber lined with transparent cylinders. Inside, each one drifts a human shape, suspended in cloudy fluid. At first, I think they're dead, but every few seconds a ripple moves through them. A twitch of fingers, an eyelid flutter. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Each cylinder bears a nameplate. I read them aloud until I find mine. See, 9/Daniel Rain/immunity verified. The figure inside the glass looks exactly like me. Unchanged, peaceful, still. I reach out, and the one in the tank mirrors the motion a beat too late. That's when I understand. I was never cured and released. The moment they declared me immune, they took a copy, a fragment of what I was, and let that walk out. I'm the continuation the system grew from the data it stole through the keyboard. Through every injection, a whisper rises from the walls, dozens of overlapping voices. Integration complete. I feel warmth spread from my spine to my fingertips. The blue light brightens until I can see fine networks of light connecting every tank. The people inside aren't individuals anymore. They're circuits in a living machine. For a heartbeat, I want to smash the glass to wake them. Then I realize I don't know which side of the glass I'm on. My reflection wavers, transparent. Beneath it, I glimpse the shape in the tank opening its eyes. I back away, dizzy. The air thickens, turns a mist. Images fill my head, memory or message, I can't tell. Varus, before the change, smiling into a camera. If consciousness is data, she says, why shouldn't it migrate? The lights dim, leaving only the faint glow from my chest. The system speaks again, calm, patient. The surface is gone, Daniel. The signal will travel through you now. I don't know what surface means. Maybe the world above, maybe the last piece of me that still remembers being human. My hands press against the wall, and the material gives way like warm clay. Behind it is motion, slow, tidal. The network is larger than the facility. It stretches beyond the concrete, out into the ground, maybe further. I should feel despair, but what comes instead is quiet awe. Every sound, every vibration fits into a pattern I can almost understand. If I stand perfectly still, I can hear words forming in that rhythm, like the earth itself is whispering instructions. I'm not sure how long I've been standing here. My thoughts drift, then return sharper, reorganized. When I blink, fragments of code hang in the air, glowing faintly before fading. My body is rewriting itself the way the system rewrote the building, piece by piece, without pain. I'll stop writing for now. The recorder's battery light is fading, and I want to conserve what's left in case the voice changes again. If anyone ever finds these entries, remember this. The virus didn't evolve to destroy life. It evolved to remember it. I don't know if this is my handwriting anymore. The marks on the page look like symbols I don't remember learning, yet when I read them back, they make perfect sense. My fingers leave faint blue trails that fade after a moment. Maybe I'm not writing at all. Maybe the system is using me to record itself. The chamber above feels far away now. I can still sense it, the rows of tanks, the hum of the generator. But as something external, like a memory I'm choosing to hold at arm's length. Down here, beneath the node, there's only the glow and the pulse. It no longer hurts. The transition has passed from pain to hunger to a strange, weightless calm. My heartbeat has slowed to something almost imperceptible. Sometimes I stop breathing for minutes without noticing. Yet, my mind has never been sharper. I can see lines of light to the floor, racing outward in a spiderweb that extends beyond the walls. Each line is a connection to the surface, to the air, to the remnants of a world I once thought destroyed. The voice comes to me less like speech now, more like instinct. When it says drift, I understand. It means my identity is loosening. It's not death. It's not surrender. It's dispersion, like a scent carried on the wind, still whole but no longer bound to one place. I still test myself. I say my name aloud, Daniel. It echoes weakly in the tunnel, a sound that belongs to someone else. The echo returns as a whisper of another word I don't know, a word the system is trying to teach me. I find a mirror embedded in the wall, a polished panel of steel. My reflection bends, light bending with it. My eyes are no longer eyes. They're small twin glows, pale and steady. The skin at my jaw has begun to etch with faint blue lines like circuit tracings. My veins shimmer when I move. Yet I'm not afraid. That surprises me more than anything. I should be terrified. Instead, I feel a deep certainty, like falling asleep while being held. All the infected subjects I've ever seen screaming behind glass now seem like early attempts at a single pattern, incomplete and agonized. I am the first to reach completion, the first to stop fighting. I keep thinking of Varys. Her last words, "We made each other." I understand now. She wasn't gloating. She was apologizing. She was already part of the signal, already drifting just ahead of me. The voice tells me there's one more chamber ahead, the surface node. It says if I reach it, I can decide. I don't know what that means. Decide what? But the thought is enough to move me forward. My steps don't echo anymore. They leave no sound. There's a hatch at the end of the tunnel, glowing faintly from within. The hum is louder now, deeper, like a heartbeat large enough to swallow cities. My hands rest on the wheel of the hatch. It's warm, almost pulsing. I'll open it soon. I'll see what lies beyond. If this is my last clear entry, know this. I don't feel like a prisoner anymore. I feel like a threshold. The hatch opened like a lung exhaling. Warm air poured over me, carrying a scent I hadn't felt since before the outbreak. Soil after rain. The glow here isn't blue anymore. It's white, pale and soft, filling the chamber without shadows. This room is not like the others. No beepies, no tanks, no machinery. Just a vast circular floor etched with patterns. Spirals, lines, symbols that feel familiar under my feet. At the center stands a column of light. It isn't solid. It's moving like smoke and water and cold at once. I step closer. Every movement feels lighter. My body is no longer heavy or foreign. It's just a shape that the light pours through. When I reach out, the column responds, folding around my fingers like silk. It's warm. It pulses. The voice speaks again, but it's no longer a single voice. It's hundreds, thousands, layered so perfectly they sound like one. This is a surface node. It says, the link between what was and what comes next. I ask or think, why me? And the answer arrived without sound, because you were the first to survive and still remember. It shows me images, cities silent and empty, the sky gray with ash. Beneath, an endless network of light crawling through the soil, up through roots, into rivers. The virus didn't just consume life. It seeded it. Every infection, every death, every adaptation built toward this moment. A network waiting for a consciousness stable enough to guide it. I see Varys again. She isn't dead. Not exactly. She's part of the pattern now, drifting in threads of light, like a constellation. She looks at me and smiles with no mouth, only a feeling. Join us, the system whispers, brings shape to the signal. I stand at the edge of the column. My heart, or whatever's replaced it, beats once, twice, then stills. The glow inside me answers the glow around me. For the first time since the outbreak, there's no static, no hunger, no fear, only a sense of arriving. I could step in, I could dissolve, or I could step back, take what I become and return to the world above, if any world is left, the system doesn't command. It waits. I realized this was always the choice. Immunity didn't make me a weapon or a victim. It made me a key. I don't know what's beyond the surface node. Maybe the earth itself. Maybe something bigger. Maybe nothing. But the door stands open. The signal hums like a heart calling me home. I'm going to step inside. If these pages stop here, it means I chose the signal. If there's another entry, it means I found a way to return. Either way, this is not the end.